Well, buckle up, buttercups. Hey, y'all. APG Jamie here. And today we have a very long video, which I hope you can stay and watch, okay? You know, because it's long. Yeah, it's long for me because, you know, it's sped up. Some is in hyperspeed. Some has been removed. It's a project I worked on over a few days. It grew. So it started off, I just really wanted to try my hand at making some of these painty, you know, the bubble painty papers. Okay? So I have some old dylusions paint. Remember when they came in the flat round containers? That. It wasn't dried up. Some of it I had to toss because it dried up. Those round flat containers are not very good for storage. Anyway, I had put them into bottles and put, you know, distilled water in there so they would reconstitute into the lovely paintiness that they were. They're almost as lovely as they were. Anyway, that's what I'm using. Just water, tap water, some of the extra thick paint, and dishwashing liquid. And, you know, I smooshed it around in the little water with the paintbrush, you know, trying to smooth it out. And some of it's got smooth and some of it not so much. And I just that's the only straw I had out in studio, which is a coffee stirring straw. And it worked just fine. And I've not done this before, so this is my first time to try it. And it does take a little practice, okay? I've seen several videos about it, and I've seen people use, you know, the big jumbo craft sticks to take it out. I didn't pull those out, but I did have this big giant spoon sitting there. I don't know why I have this big giant spoon out in the studio, but I do, okay? I don't know. Some stuff I just can't explain. I can complain about lots of stuff. Anyway, I was fairly happy with it. I am using a nice grade of paper. How nice, you might ask? Hickin', y'all. I don't know. It's just a nice paper, okay? Not your regular typical copy paper. This is more of a resume paper, but I don't know that it's resume paper. Anyway. So I did this one, and then I got out some regular crappy copy paper, some extra cheap stuff. And they both pretty much did the same. I wasn't sure if it was, I don't know, it could be the paint. I know some people use watercolors and some, I don't know, use inks or whatever. I'm just using this stuff, okay? Because I'm trying to use it. All right. So I'm not disappointed, but it does take practice. Now, I did a couple pages like that, and I thought, well, you know what? We're goofing around. And I was just only going to do the video with the painty bubble paper. I thought, well, let's go ahead and try some glycerin in there. Because glycerin does something to water. It like, I don't know. It doesn't thicken it, but it does something. And I put that in there, and I liked the results better with this particular paint, with this particular paper, okay, after I added the glycerin in there. So if I was to do this, which I might do this again, I don't know. I'm not totally opposed to it. I would use the glycerin. And it wasn't much, y'all. It was, you know, a few drops. I don't know. I didn't do no measuring. And a couple of the colors that I used were pretty close in color range. Like I used a light green and the yellow, and they really were not distinguishable once they got on the paper. So I stopped using the lighter green, and I had 5 colors. But then I took away the lighter green. And then at some point, I will add what was originally called postbox red into the yellow to make an orange, only it doesn't come out orange. It comes out more of a coral color. It's not ugly. It's not an ugly color. But anyway, so we do this for a long time, and I wasn't sure if I was getting my head in the camera, because you know you can't see the screen over there when you're turning your head sideways trying to blow bubbles so everybody can see your bubbles. Blowing bubbles. Blue, 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 blue. Blue, 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 blue. And I don't know, I could have deleted some of that airtime. I don't know what that was about. Is this the darker green? I think this is the darker green. I don't know. So I kept them pretty well stirred up, and I didn't have an overly lot of dish soap in there. Does it make a difference what kind of dish soap you use? I don't know. I wasn't in that kind of experimentation mode, okay? But anyway, like I said, I'm not unhappy. And I'm making these papers, and I'm fiddling around, and I have to do errands off and on. So, you know, it's not a straight through film. Well, blowing the bubbles was a straight through process even. And we will get to the other part at some point. I don't know. I keep thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk that long through this thing. Like I said, it's over an hour, y'all. And to imagine that I had cut this down and sped it up and deleted some parts to come up with an over the hour video. Does that tell you about how long I worked on this? Well, like I said, 2-3 days worth of stuff. Not solid, but you know, pretty close. And anyway, it was, you know, it became a process. And afterwards, I thought, well, what am I going to do with these papers? And it just seems so redundant. Oh, here's the red post box in the yellow. And it looks fairly orangey, but when it comes out on the paper, it's a corally color. I'm not totally disappointed with it. So anyway, I was just doing this, and I thought, well, that's just very redundant. Did I use that word already? Is it redundant to use the word redundant so many times redundantly? Anyway, so it's kind of boring, because you know, you get what, like 15 minutes is plenty to show bubble paint and paper. You see, this whole thing, this is like an elementary school kind of project. Did I ever do this in elementary? I don't know. I don't remember ever doing it. Okay. Anyway. And it came about because about this time last year, when Tim Holtz came out with his, you know, a big stamp, bubble stamp, which I got because I liked it. I still liked it. And so people started saying, oh, you don't have to buy the stamp, which you don't. You don't have to buy the stamp. This is how you do it, blah, 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 you know. And anyway, finally getting around to trying it. I still like the bubble stamp. And I was kind of reminded of this technique. I guess it's a technique. That's blue. And because I recently got one of the stamps from this year's Halloween release, Shattered. I think I've called it Fractured, but it's actually called Shattered. And I really like that one too. We will use it. Yeah, okay. Back to the redundant, blowing bubbles, putting it on paper over and over and over again. The same colors, because, you know, I didn't mix up any other colors. Because when I got through with these, I'm like, you know, that's enough. And I have a paper towel kitchen roll for some of you folks in the UK that I'm daubling up puddles and whatnot with. And so my paper's all nice and dry. It's probably been overnight even. And I'm trimming it in half. For us Americans, it's 8.5 by 11. I don't know what size that is in other countries. Anyway, if for some reason 2 of these sheets cut oddly, and I thought, well, that's odd. You know, I'm not a precise cutter. or a measurer, because there ain't no ruler boss in me. And I will end up trimming them down again off camera once I kind of decide what I was going to do. Right now we're still just playing around with the paper. And that is the shattered stamp. Okay, and I'm using embossing ink. Oh, there's a list of ingredients in the description box below. Okay, it's not a box, but it's still below the video. ... more. Click it and you'll see the ingredients mostly. Yeah. So I'm using different colors of embossing powders because I like to do that. Not always, but I do like to do it. And I haphazardly with the stamp and the embossing ink, and I'm using watering can, silver white, and then I go and get out the glow in the dark one, because I thought, you know, it's getting to be that time of year, right? So, did I ever put it in the sun and then take it in a darkened room? No, I didn't. So I don't know. And I like that pretty well. So I do that on all the papers on one side, because the back side, now granted, I only blew the bubbles on the one side, but they bled through to the back side, which you will see at some point or another if you've not already seen, because, you know, I don't always pay attention when I'm doing the voiceovers. Party mix. Different colors. Do not put the different colors back into the original color container. Put it in a separate container. Okay, and I'm pinching it between my thumb and forefinger and smooshing it around so that it just kind of falls like a fine powder. Even it is. It's embossing powder. Isn't that funny? So that's my little party mix, which is now have a bunch of other colors in there. And again, y'all, all the embossing powder makes me happy. I am very happy with the results of this project. You know, the bubble painting that morphed into a project. Oh, a cute little journal. You'll see if you hang around, or even if you skip around, you'll see too. Because there's a lot of heat going on in here. Like I said, I am not. You know, I kind of got bored with it, frankly, making the bubbles like that. Just, you know. But I could see where kids would love to do this kind of thing. And I would just suggest to you to go ahead and search the old YouTubes for bubble painting. I mean, you know, what's it going to hurt? Because there's probably a few other different ways to do it. I'm telling you, put glycerin in there, you know, when I go to do this again. Just saying. So on the back side, I decided to do inking with that bubble stamp I aforementioned. And I got out some oxide ink in the peeled paint color, because that's what I picked. And I'm going to stamp on the back sides of all of those. And yeah, the stamp is actually a little bit smaller than what I'm using the paper there. Here is where I'm spritzing it with some water, but you can't see the water spritzer, but that's what it is. It's water. I'm trying to activate the oxideness of the ink a little bit, and it looks like I'm spritzing it and wiping it away. It is in hyperspeed, y'all. So I spritzed it and let it set for, you know, not a minute, not even half a minute, just a few seconds. And then I just smooshed that paper towel, napkin back, whatever it was, on there to just dabble up some of the water. And then again, I think I went and ran an errand or something. So I found this piece of faux chipboard. I don't know what it is. It could have came in a shirt package or a sheet package or something. The white side's kind of slick and the back side is craft color. And I cut it down to the size I thought I wanted. And I should have, y'all know, I should have made a bigger spine. Anyway, You'll see me break out the ruler trying to do some numbers in my head, and that just seldom works out for me. Is this the ruler part coming up? Y'all. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I've got, 45 more minutes to chit chat. Here comes the ruler. Because I'm going to make a pocket thing, but I'm like, that's a little bit taller than I want my pocket to be. I only want my pocket to be a couple of inches. So how much do I need to cut off? I don't know. So I figure out I'm going to cut this to 7 inches. Oh, the finished journal measures about 4 1/4 by 5 inches. Okay, it's almost a square, not quite, but close enough. And so I'm trimming off for the pocket and leaving a gap for the book crack gap, aka the spine. And I'm trimming the pocket so that it's slightly a slight wedge, so it doesn't bind in the book crack gap, because I'm going to have enough. I need every spare hair width I could get, because you know me. I should have went with how big is that? I don't even know how big that gap is right there. Not half an inch, maybe a quarter. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Not big enough is what it is. So I'm also trimming off the side just a little bit, and I'm going to be putting the craft color part on the outside and the white part on the inside. Okay. So yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, remember that napkin? That paper towel we used, aka kitchen roll? We're going to use it. I peeled the 2 layers apart because the brand I have, I think it's the Sam's brand. Anyway, not that it matters, has 2 layers. And you can peel them apart so you actually get 2 painted paper towels for the price of 1. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, yeah, those are so not looking the same, and I think I keep cutting the same one instead of the other one. Yeah, I tell you what. Okay, so at some point I will stop flip-flopping around with that, and we walk away and we come back, and I'm like, yeah, flipping and flopping. Now we're going to adhere our 1 single ply paper towel onto, we're going to paint the cardstock color, craft color, okay, with white. Just dampening, not wetting, dampening the brush I'm going to use, okay? So it's just damp. It helps keep the acrylic stuffs from sticking overly much to your bristles. Just saying. Damp, not drippy wet, okay? It's not like you're not doing no watercoloring, okay? It's just a white acrylic paint. I'm not even sure I remembered to put that in the description, but now you know what it is. And it's 1 single layer. It is splotchy, and that is a-okay, because we're going to put that paper towel on top. This is fluid matte medium that I'm now putting over the top of the dried white acrylic paint. I used white acrylic paint. I did not use gesso, and that's okay, because at this point I'm like, yeah, this is my project, and this is what I'm doing. And it kind of grew even still, because I thought, well, I'll just make a quick little journal, right? No. This over an hour video. Oh, when I say over an hour, I mean it's like 2 minutes past an hour, okay? So it's not like an hour and a half or an hour 20, anything like that. So, matte medium on our surface, applied the single layer of paper towel, kitchen roll, on top of that, and now I'm going over the top of that with more of the fluid matte medium. Okay, it's fluid matte medium, not a gel. Can you do it with gel? I don't know. I never have, but I guess you could if you wanted to. And I'm just smooshing it down And I am not worried about it not making full coverage there, okay? So don't you worry about that. Now, I would suggest that you go put your brush in some water instead of walking away. So I got a piece of fabric. It's cotton fabric, probably muslin, because and that's that's what I have. And I went and sewed my signatures in, and a signature is I have 2 half sheets folded, nestled inside each other. Okay, so that's however many pages I got. I do not backstitch when I'm sewing paper because I always get scared that it's just going to make the paper zip apart anyway. So I was just putting some glue onto the stitching on both the top and the bottom. And now I'm trimming away the little threads because they look like hair and I didn't like it. Sometimes I don't mind loose threads and sometimes I do. But this time I minded. So I'm trimming them away. Okay. All right. So there's our little cover. It's all nice and dry. We sewed in our signatures on the sewing machine. And now we're going to stick it in that book crack gap. And it fits in there perfectly. That should have been an indicator to me that it's not a big enough spine. But at this point, I'm still thinking in my head, I'm just going to stick these in here and glue my pockets up and ta-da. But no. Somebody got carried away. Well, not literally, just figuratively, carried away. As you can see, it fits. It's like, man, fits like a glove. Look at that. Got enough of a gap on the top and the bottom and on the sides. Like, good. Getting out a bone folder. Going to smishel in, into the spine, aka book crack gap. Make sure that all gets nice and glued down. I thought, well, I need to glue down this part of the fabric. So I'm just putting some Aleenes original tacky glue on the back cover. I'm trying to avoid the actual fold, okay? Because sometimes when you put glue in the actual folds, it can cause issues. So doing that on the front and the back. And I know I could have used Fabri-Tac, but I didn't need it. But we will need it. We will need it at some point, okay? Not like kneading dough, but we'll need it. All right. I'm like, yeah. That's nice. Fits like a glove. I'm so happy with that. And I was thinking this whole time I was thinking, if I was to put stuff in this now journal, because now it's a journal, right? Got signatures in there, cover, what would I do? So I'm rounding the little corners on the flip up things that are going to be the pockets, okay? They're going to be pockets. They are pockets. They are currently pockets, okay? I'm going to glue them on there. And I guess we're gluing a long time. Oh, I think I must have slowed the video down a little bit. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I need some clamps because the inside, this white part, is kind of slick, okay? So it's not that happy about being glued to itself. I'm going to take that out. Then we're going to glue this one. This is where I'm going to have some issues. So a fair warning, I will get out the Fabri-Fix and we will have to Fabri-Fix it in a day or so. No, not a day or so. I'll leave it to dry for a little bit. See, we just prop it up and leave it to dry and walk away and come back. And I'm like, yeah, that one stuck pretty good. This one's not so much. So I'll put some more glue on there. And it's just, that one just didn't want to glue down. I think that's the one I kept mistrimming anyway. That's probably why. Too close to the book crack gap. So I'm going to get the Fabri-Fix. I'm liking that. I'm like, yeah, that's cute. what would I do in this journal if I were to work in this journal? Because I was thinking I wasn't going to work in it. We did. That's why the video is so long, because you get to see me picking out. Normally I have everything all picked out that I'm going to put in there, okay, but not this time. You get to see me pick pert near everything, pert near. And I thought, well, we need to ink it, because I rounded the corners. You weren't looking, and I rounded the corners. And I've already cut out a little book plate thingy. It's not really a book plate. It's just out of cardstock. And I thought, well, we'll put that on the front. And then I set that aside. And I do that much later. In fact, you don't even get to see me do that. Glued it on there, because I added some words to it. But you won't get to see that either. Well, you'll see the photo montage. And I'm like, oh, because I had to use the Fabri-Tac, whatever it is, on that front pocket. Now this card's not fitting in there. So I'm trimming it down. I'm just trying to be real careful, because I want to keep that pretty little border edge on there. And I'm like, oh, just barely gets in there, y'all. Just barely. We're rounding them corners. We are using some idea-ology ephemera bits, and I had already decided what I was putting in the front and the back cover. That I had already decided, but everything else I just picked out the colors that I thought looked good. I wasn't necessarily, shouldn't even say necessarily, I was not paying any attention to what was actually written on any of this ephemera. And I went through and I picked out some of these washi tape style big postage stamp looking things that I got from the Amazons that I don't have a link for, that I don't know the name of the store from. Okay, not all of it is idea-ology ephemera. Okay, so, like those tickets there, I don't know, again from the Amazon, I don't know, but I like them. So, and I thought we're going to use them. So now I'm fiddling around with what I'm going to put where. At some point, I do pick out and pull out a few more things, but not much, okay? So this is where I don't know what to talk about anymore, because I'm just fiddling around, and I'm like, oh, I love that frame around that girl's face. So, anyway, you will see me shuffle through these same things for every page. Well, until I use it, and then it won't get shuffled through anymore. And I just do it until I'm like, yeah, that makes me happy. And I'm like, okay, anything else? No, nothing else. Well, you know me and my pockets. I like them. Just because you have a pocket doesn't mean you have to put something in said pocket. Even though I think I did put something in every pocket. Teeny tiny tuck spot. Okay, see, it's a pocket. I'm like, oh, these tickets look good in there. Fold them in half and they'll look better. Yeah, like that. You got it, girl. So yes, there will be quiet times. You could play your own music during this time, because I am literally just flipping, flopping through the same thing. Now, I'm also going to tell you, if you haven't noticed already, that the actual journal is a bit high up on my desk. I don't know why, because I normally don't work that high up. But for some reason, I have all the ephemera down here on the bottom. Oh, poking a hole. But I don't use that till the end. I'm not even sure you see that part. Anyway, been a while. I thought, well, let's get some paper dolls, because, oh, we got these paper dolls. We haven't divided them out yet. And this bunch right here, I'm like, oh, it's got all the sizes in there. I try to pull them out and organize them to size, because a lot of the ones I wanted to use were too tall. Well, poop. So, I end up going with a girl on one and a guy on the other. And what I do is I work on the first page and then the back page, and then the second page, then the second to the last page. I flip-flop back and forth. I was trying to put somewhat of a balance in there. Why? I don't know, because that's what I wanted to do, I guess. I was working intuitively, so IDK. Now, when I pull out the paper dolls again, you won't see that part, because I'm like, how many times? You can't even see her now. I'm going to blush her cheeks, and you can barely see that. And that's all I painted on her was her cheeks and her lips. On the guy, I painted his, and when I say paint, I mean markered, his tie and his shoes. Okay? Water brush to erase with, because it's watercolor markers. And I really like how they look, because they come off fairly, translucent. Not everything's translucent on these paper dolls. And remember, paper dolls and most of the Tim Holtz stuff has a slick kind of finish on there. So, if you're not careful, you're just going to smoosh it, wipe it right back off. Now, because that's a pocket, I'm making her so that she's not gluing the pocket shut. So she's kind of a tuck spot too. I'm like, oh, that cheek messed up. So put a little more blush on there. Paper towel. Double it up. Oh, looks good. Look at that pocket. Here's the guy. I had to go back through my dolls and find the guy. And yes, I used the same pink on him, and it's perfectly fine. Will you be able to tell in the photo montage? I don't know, because let's face it, people. I have a little tiny editing screen. And when I say little tiny editing screen, I mean it's like a 3.5 by, what's about the size of an artist trading card? My editing screen. Could I make it bigger? Probably. I've just never tried, and it's fine. I just apparently like complaining about it. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going front and back all the way through. Okay. Now, heads up, that little card's a pocket. Don't want to glue it shut, so we're just gluing his legs and one side of his body. Okay. So it's a pocket tuck spot. All right. Need to put a little extra glue in some places, so we do that. Notice I'm not really inking anything, although at one point I will ink some stuff, just not everything. Love those roses. That is pretty near the same color of the coral of the paint that we blew bubbles with, okay, that we mixed up way back 2 days ago. I'm like, okay, just need something else. I need something tiny. I'm like, where's those little teeny tinies, whatever they're called, description box. And then when I pulled out my little tins that got the little teeny tiny stuff in it, I found those little bits of fabric, and I'm like, well, that makes me happy too. So we pulled that out. There's the little teeny tiny things, okay? And I will at some point start using my tweezers to help shuffle through there, because sometimes your fingers are big and fumbly. Those are some number strips that I printed out. Sometimes when I have extra room, when I'm printing out stuff, I will add numbers or words or made up cities in states. They're actual states, but the cities are made up. They may exist, I don't know. And I will print them out, and they get in my little label. I call them labels. My little label tin. And the roses are going to be a pocket too. Like I said, just because I make it a pocket doesn't mean something has to go in it. But we'll put something in it. Okay. I'm liking that. I'm like, yeah. And it is in hyperspeed. So. And at some point later on, I will slow down briefly to show you something that hopefully I will tell you about whenever we get there. I'm like, yeah, it makes me happy. Okay, now let's flip back to the back. I'm like, yeah. I know. I'm up high on the screen. And some of that stuff, I'm like, I think it was the colors that I was looking at, but I'm not going to swear to that. I'm pretty sure it was the colors. Didn't pay attention. I know I said it all right, to anything that was written on there. Whatever it says is what it says. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And may I say before we get to the end of the video, this journal is available for purchase should you happen to be interested. Just shoot me a message, or contact me here on the old Facebook or the Instagrams or the Facebooks. Okay? And we'll see if we can work something out. Because I've had my fun with it. I'm done. I've had my fun. I'm done with it. Cast it aside. But there's room for journaling and more decor stuff if that's what you should happen to do. Or you could just get it and pet it. I mean, that's allowable too. So here's those little teeny tiny things. I don't know what I don't know. It's in the description. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm liking all that. Like I said, at some point I will start inking some things, not everything. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Because I like the white. So you can leave things white if you want to. You don't have to ink or distress everything. There's nothing wrong with white. And in this case, I did like the white on here. I think not every page got something on it either. It may look like it, but it didn't. Not every page got something on it. And the embossing that's on there is not a full coverage embossing either, just saying. Because it can't necessarily write over embossing. It just is not happy to be written on. Because it becomes plastic. So, I'm like, yeah, I'm really liking, and by this time, I'm there. I'm in the zone. And it's not until I started dropping my scissors. I think I dropped every pair of scissors I had up there. I don't know. And I thought, I might be tired. It might be time to stop for the day. So that's what I did. I stopped it for that day. And then edited the video. And now we're doing the voiceover. Okay? I am happy with it. I think it's a lovely little journal. And what did I say? 4 1/4 by 5, I believe. So it's kind of small. Lots of different ephemera bits. We still got, not quite 30 minutes left to voice over. And I've not stopped talking yet, have I? Oh, piece of fabric. Okay. I'm like, don't like that sticking out. But if I had shorter pages or not as wide of a page, that would have made an excellent tab. I just don't put tabs in very often. I don't know. Just don't. Anyway, sticking that down with stickers. Notice I did not put any glue behind the stickers. Oh, we're going to use some aged tape, the clear tape that you put the alcohol ink on yourself to make it look like old tape from the olden days. We'll do some of that. Well, we don't make the tape, but we'll use some. I was sitting there and I thought, I want to need something else. What does it need? And I kind of rolled my eyeballs up to the top of my head and I saw them hanging right there on my little camera arm. These teeny tiny playing cards that I got from the Hobby Lobby in their miniature section. Okay, they sell little miniatures for dollhouses kind of stuff. And they had some playing cards. And I thought, oh, I love those little things. I mean, it's like the size of your little pinky fingernail. Okay, they tiny. And that's what that one. I just used one. Anyway, putting that on there. And it was too high, so I pulled it off. Now I'm sticking it back on there because I wanted you to be able to see it was the number 2. Why? I don't know. Uh, you can't argue intuition, Artin, okay? Just following that muse where it's going. And I'm happy that I did. So here comes another piece. I'm like, well, we put a piece in the front and we're going to put a piece in the back. I'm like, okay. And it's funny, y'all. It's the same color as that corally color. Serendipity. Who's been waiting to hear that word? Serendipity. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Can't see it. Can't change that now, you know. Once you're filming, you're filming. Once you're filming, you're filming. Okay. Like, yeah, I know. Flipping that one number. I don't know if I ever used that 60-210. I don't know if I did. I might have. I don't know. Don't remember. We'll have to wait and see. Because we flipped through it a lot. Oh, here comes some black ink. Like I said, some stuff I felt I needed to ink around and some I didn't. I couldn't tell you if there was any rhyme or reason to it. And some stuff I ink going around to the right, and sometimes I ink going counterclockwise. Don't know about that neither. Just because that's just the way it goes. I mean, I'm a habitual person. Habitual. Not habitual. I do things, you know. I don't know why I do things like that, dude. Hey, this is not an analysis video. It's an art and video. Okay. Gonna peel that stamp. I'm happy with how this came out. I hope you're enjoying watching it. You can always turn my voice off and listen to your own music too, also as well as speeding up the video or slowing it down depending on the device you're on. Find the little gear, the little cog, the little settings where you can change said speed or volume. Okay? Okay. Don't forget to thumb up. Give us a like. Share us with your friends. Some of these pieces are big, and I'm like, well, why did I pick them? They're so big. I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute. We used that flower already. Nope, different flower. Okay. And then I thought, nope, not going to put that one in. Well, kind of like that. And something I'm like, well, you know, I can always trim them off or fold them up. And I don't know. Got distracted by those stamps. I'm like, oh, I like how those stamps look. Look at that. Oh, they look good just exactly like that. So I'm going to glue them on, but I don't get them glued on exactly like that. Y'all. I did not take a picture of any of the layouts. You know, a lot of times I do that. I'm going to say 90% of the time I do that, but I didn't today. So now I'm like, where's that, that thing right there? Puts little divots in there. Scorer. No, it's not a scorer. I don't know. I can't think of what it's called. Description. Anyway, running that through there, you know, like it's, you can zipper it apart. Anyway, doing that on all those, putting it away. Now I'm going to ink those bits. Okay. Okay. It's archival coffee color, and then when I use the black, it's the black soot. Just saying, archival. So we're doing that. And, you know, it's like, I'm not a big fan of covering up these big chunks that you use. And I'm like, I can take this one stamp away here, and then I can take one stamp away there, and I can use them somewhere else. One of them I do use somewhere else. Okay. This one is not a pocket. I don't make everything a pocket, although it seems like it. Not almost do. Just not 100% of the time. Probably 95% of the time. Molly's hot, so she's panting. If you hear a dog panting, that would be Molly, and she's okay. She's in the air conditioning. It's just not as cool as she would like it to be. Gotta save a dime somewhere. Okay. Like I said, I don't know why I ink stuff and other stuff I don't. Just the way it goes. Pocket. Okay. 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 And evidently it's just that one little thing. Here's where I'm going to get out that tape. That particular piece of ephemera has like an old piece of aged tape on it. Like it originally had a piece of old tape on it. And of course everything's all been photocopied and resized and cut out and all that kind of stuff. We will put a piece of our alcohol inked faux aged tape on there. I keep a sheet of it. I have a couple different colors. One is more of an orangey reddy kind of color, and one is more of a yellowy tan color. Okay. Here I am looking for something. I don't know what I'm looking for. That's why I like fiddling through things and flipping through things. Well, sometimes I have a specific thing, like I know exactly what I want to put there. But most of the time, I don't know what I want to put there. So I flip through things. It's what works for me. You do what works for you. Okay? Okay. Now, we're a little over 45 minutes into the video. So far, you're doing good. And my voiceover is going okay, I think. I've not run out of anything to say yet. Surprises the heck out of me. Probably does not surprise my mother. God rest her soul. She's like, oh, that Jamie Lynn, she's a talker. She's a talker. Anyway. Don't sound much like an introvert, do I? But I am one. I'm in my safety zone. So here I'm gluing down these little tiny bits, just a little bit. I'm just tacking them down so that they stay mostly the way I want it down. Here comes the tape. See, that one was a little more red. So I'm going to pull off a piece of that, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good right there. And I thought, now it's going to be somewhat sticky on the back. So I'm going to take another little piece off, and I'm going to stick that on the back side. You're not going to be able to see it. So that it's not sticky. Okay, does that make sense? So it's not sticky. Okay. Now we're going to put that away. We'll use it again in a minute. Just in a minute. This is going to be a pocket, which is why I didn't want the back side to be sticky. Okay. Look how cool that is. But I need to glue down that upper piece so it looks like it's taped right there. Well, it is taped right there now. Here it is, pocket. Ta-da! Not ta-dum, not ta-da-dum. Just a little ta-dum. Now we're gluing on all those little bits that we had pre-tacked together. Look how cute that is. Y'all. Okay, flipping around. I'm like, yeah, that's the page we're on now. Let's pull out all these other bits. Now I'm going to use the yellow flowers. The second yellow flowers. And I'm like, well, I might put that orange flower on there. I think we do put that orange. And I'm like, I like that green one there. And I'm like, oh, I like that pink one. It is pink. There's this little spot in the center of that pink card. Like it had been, you remember those silver spiky things? They're like an upside down pokey tool. And they put papers on there to hold all their papers together. Okay, whatever those things were called, spiky things. And that's what it looked like. It had a hole in it. We will re-put that hole in there. I don't know when. I don't know if it's that one. It's a different pink one. We'll get there. You'll see. Oh, I want something in that corner, but oh, that piece of fabric is perfect. Perfect. Put it there, and I'm like, well, I don't like the letters going. You cannot read what it says. Cannot. So it just makes visual interest. Okay? Okay. I like it sideways like that. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. Flip-flopping stuff around. As you can see. Now I have those little individual stamps. Oh, they're not real stamps. They're faux stamps. They're probably images of some old stamp. I don't know. We haven't made faux stamps in a long time, have we? Faux postage stamps in a long time. I think the last time we did it was when we did the swap with Janet Merle, Monkey Island. I'm thinking. I don't know. It's like the closer I get to done, the closer I'm hem-hawing around. And yes, there is such a thing as too many choices. I'm just going to tack that right there on that butterfly. Or is that a moth? I think this one's a moth. I don't know. So it's a pocket. Now that's a pocket. This is going to be a pocket. Okay. 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 Just like that. Perfect. Go ahead and get the Fabrifix. Fabri-Tac. Whatever it is. Something. Fabra. Okay. Swoosh that around. Stick her little fabric on there. Wiping my fingers off and glue on our butterfly. Please note, I did not do my typical thread antennae on any of the butterflies in this project. I thought about it, but I do prefer to glue the antennae to the surface. Otherwise, they look weird. Okay? Otherwise, they look like hair. Ugh. Coming out of one of the molds. Anyway, I was just noticing my Halloween witch that we made last year for the Halloweenisms. Anyway. So, moving on. Did I tell you that project made me happy? All right. We're 51 minutes in. Y'all. Only 2 days to go. And I'm trying to bring some of the colors together. And I think it works pretty well. I mean, none of these colors are exactly the same, but I think they're close enough in family to count. And I found this one. I thought I'm going to use this one. It's a city and a state. It's a made-up city and a real state. We have 50 states, okay? In the U.S., that is. Okay. We do have, and I think this is Far, Ohio, is what I have on the little label. We do have a Far, Texas. I know. It reminds me one time I was at work. Somebody was trying to come to the office, and they were trying to get directions on how to get there from Far. And the person that answered the phone says, well, where are you coming from? And they said, Far. And she goes, well, I know, but are you coming from the north or the south? And they said, from the north, from Far. And it was like, he said, she said, who's on first kind of thing. It was so funny. And I said, let me have the phone. I'll tell them how to get here. Because I knew there was a Far, Texas. Anyway. So I put Far, Ohio. I think it's what it says. Pretty sure. I don't know if we can see it in the photo montage later on in another 2 days. I don't know. So you notice on this one, that's the one that's got the hole in the middle. I'm like, oh, there's a hole supposed to be right there. It's a little white dot. So I put some little water on there just to help soften the paper, and it just worked like a charm. Just put my little tweezers right through there, and put a little brown ink on there. It's like, yeah, baby. Looks just like it was on one of those silver pokey things. I'm sure they have an actual name. I don't know what it is. Need some chapstick. All this chit-chatting. Quiznos. Chapstick. I don't use chapstick. Oh, sorry about that clicking. I use Burt's Bees. Highly recommend Burt's Bees. Okay. Here we go. Oh. Got my lips all moisturized now. Digging for more ephemera bits. I love these little tiny things, y'all. They so tiny. But they came in very, very handy for this project. That, you know, we were just bubble painting, and then it morphed into this whole little 3-day project. It's like, oh my gosh, crazy. Crazy like a fox. I'm looking for something blue. See the blue stamp on the right? I want to bring that blue over to the left page. Just wasn't having any luck. So I'm going to grab this other baggie of ephemera bits I have over there to the right. You can't see them, but they're there. And I'm like, well, maybe there's something. I just keep flipping around. Anyway, I'll grab the bag, and I'm like, well, maybe there's something in here. I don't know what company of things they are. This is not it. This stuff is the palette. It's called palette ephemera. I think mostly because it was like, well, like a palette, color-based and stuff. Anyway, that one was pretty good. And then I pulled that out. I'm like, well, that's perfect. It's another stamp. It's a different stamp, but it's another stamp. And I'm like, well, that one's got the orange on it. And I'm like, no, I don't like that orange. And that is the only thing I use out of that bag. I'm like, okay, well, that's exactly what I needed. And I, at some point, will ink the stamp on the left hand side of the page. Oh, here, this one's going to get a piece of that tape because the image that's underneath there looks like it originally had a piece of tape on there, but it looked weird, so I just went ahead and trimmed that off and then put my own little tape on there. Glue it. Okay, it's like perfect. Trim. Okay. See that little hole? I'm like, oh, darken it on this side, just in case. Pocket. Pocket. Everything's a pocket. Almost everything's a pocket. Okay. Perfect. Okay. This is a pocket. It's like, why not? I mean, why glue the whole thing down when it can be a pocket? You don't have, I know I've said it, and I'll say it again. You don't have to use it as a pocket, but you can. It's available. What the heck? So now we're going to glue that flower on there. Putting glue everywhere. I probably don't need it, but okay. We will have to trim that off because it's sticking out. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, looking for the scissors. Oh, that's probably when I had to get up and get the scissors. So I'm starting to get tired, okay? Starting to drop things. I don't always drop things, but I was getting tired. And we're going to ink that, and then I thought, oh, this would look so cool with a little tear in it. So I tore it, and I'm like, oh, let's just take a whole little chunk out. So now I'm trying to take a little chunk out, which I did. I'm like, okay. Now I thought, well, we need to make that a little darker. So I got the black ink out, which is squishing that around. Now I'm going to put ink on. I'm like, wait, what side is it? Because it's got the same image on both sides. So, smooshing it down. Okay. All right. Moving along. Oh, that little hole in there looks good. I think we're almost done. We are at the flippy flop time, y'all. Look at that teensy tiny spot. Look at it, poofy. It's a little gator mouth, y'all. So I took a couple pieces of string. One of them that I used on that tag that we poked a hole through earlier. Okay. So we got that. Put the little book plate thing on top. Put a phrase on it. Put some diamonds on it. Here we go. We're gonna flip flop through. I'm gonna show you. Some of the pockets didn't have stuff in them when I was flip flopping. But at some point I added some stuff to all the little pockets. I think I got all of them. Anyway, it's just a basic flip-flop. When you get the photo montage, you will see stuff in and out of the pockets because it's a photo-rich photo montage. I so appreciate y'all spending so much time with me. I really do. I hope you got all your dishes and chores done. Or you watched the whole thing. Or you took a nap. I'm happy. Makes me stinking happy. Here we go. We're going to tie it closed. See, it slips through the loop. Okay. And you can tighten it or as tight as loose as you want. Just flip that right through there, and it's like, oh, that's so cute. Ta-da! Photo montage. So the photos aren't that great. I did not do any color adjustments or lighting changes or any of that because, I got tired. Look. See, there's stuff in the pocket. And now there's stuff out of the pocket. That one doesn't have a pocket. Oh, yes, it does. The flowers are a pocket. See, there's our little tag. Which I noticed it says florist, and it's, stuff in the pocket, stuff out of the pocket. They're teeny tiny pocket. Well, not teeny tiny, but they're little pockets. There's the stamps, or no pocket, but that other page has one. I think I got something in all of them. I'm not going to swear to it. I'm really happy with how this came out. I can't believe the bubble painting morphed so much, y'all. But I'm happy it did. I'm happy I was able to just go with it and flow along with it and flow in bubbles, y'all. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, look at that little dog. I think that's a calling card. I'm not sure what that is. Don't know matter. Look at that. Pay to the order of, I don't know. Goodness gracious. I appreciate y'all so much, especially when you hang in there and watch these long videos. I don't have them this long very often. Look. Almost the last page. There's the stuff out of his pocket. It's like, oh, I got a watch in my pocket. Love this one. I appreciate each and every one of you, your kind comments, your likes, your shares, and your subscriptions. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.